There are lands that don't create the strongest, but only keep the final survivors. In a place where every drop of water is worth more than blood, even the Lion King must change to survive. Every step across the sea of sand is a gamble with hunger, thirst, and failure. But here, even prey carries lances sharp enough to end a king. This is the story of Lions Forged by the dead land itself. At midday, an oryx herd stands exposed under scorching sun. Nearly 1 meter long straight horns stretching skyward, like two swords planted on the head of a grass eater. Suddenly, on a sand dune about 100 meters away, a dark shadow slowly rises. Entire oryx herd simultaneously turns heads, clearly seeing a black mane gradually emerging, yet still doesn't move. The reason they don't rush to flee is because oryx are among the rare prey that make hunters hesitate before striking. Those horns have pierced through more than a few lion throats. But the one lurking behind that sand dune is no ordinary creature either. People call it Jet, weighing over 250 kilograms, among the dark maned lions, the most magnificent in all of Africa. Called Kalahari black-maned lions because their mane color and thickness are influenced by climate, hormones, and the harsh living conditions here. But right now, the pride's concern isn't the oryx. They surround the last Sama melon bush, but that bush had already dried up days before. In a desert with no rivers, wild melons are the lifeline water source. Those round green striped fruits growing scattered on sand after rainy season, flesh full of water, are the drink-saving entire prides. So the last bush drying out is also when the final drop of water runs out. Here, failing to find a new bush means dying of thirst. Jet looks south, then leads the pride onward. Entire pride follows each other stepping on hot sand, Jet leading up front, lionesses following behind. Lion cubs a few months old trot beside their mothers, quickening strides to keep pace. Sand surface at midday exceeds 60 degrees Celsius. Every step like treading directly into fire. Adults can endure it thanks to calloused paw pads, accustomed to choosing cooler hours to travel. But under the fierce midday sun, even those hardened pad layers can barely hold out. Entire pride puts all effort into striding fast, hoping to cross the burning sand stretch quickly. Adults can still manage, but the cubs are clearly flagging. Their paw pads are still young and soft, heat tolerance still weak, causing steps to slow, then fall behind. It drags each step across burning sand, each step more painful than the last. Muzzle already cracked dry after days without water, strength draining with each paw print. Finally, it collapses, lying flat on hot sand, unable to step further. Its mother circles back, gently nuzzling her muzzle against the cub's back. Jet stops, looks back at mother and cub in the sea of sand, then silently turns away. In this dead land, the entire pride cannot stop and wait for one small life at the cost of all others. Mother lion lingers beside her cub, eyes tracking the pride growing distant, then lowers gaze to her motionless cub. In the end, survival instinct pulls mother after the pride. Staying behind is only dying together. Left behind, it lies still amid emptiness. In this dead land, creatures slow to adapt are quickly eliminated. Death needs no fangs or claws, only sun and sand. Entire pride drags on until late afternoon, legs exhausted, muzzles cracked dry. Then Jet's nose catches the scent of water blended in wind, the scent of wild sama melons up ahead. Pride reaches a new melon bush, round green striped fruits scattered on sand. Jet lowers, biting down, fangs tearing open the rind, fangs normally for tearing flesh, now sinking into melon. They bury faces eating ravenously, water soaking into dry muzzles, eyes half closed, because in desert water is worth more than meat. Each fruit holds too little water, so adults must eat continuously. Thirst quenched, Jet stands, sweeping eyes across the unfamiliar land. Then nose catches another scent on wind. Not melon, but urine from this land's owner. From behind a sand dune, Dune steps out, the brown-maned male who owns this territory, paler and smaller, letting out a warning roar. The two come face to face. Dune is weaker, but holds home advantage. Jet roars in answer, sound deeper and more resonant, thanks to the massive body and wide chest cavity amplifying. Sound reverberating makes Dune freeze, hesitating a moment. Dune lunges, but opponent outweighs it by about 30 kilos. Just one foreleg swipe already sends it tumbling. Immediately, Jet closes in, locking jaws on opponent's scruff. After a final roar, Dune falls silent, ears flat, body lying prone on sand. Black mane releases its jaw grip. Defeated one immediately retreats, entire pride following, leaving behind just lost territory. Now the new territory belongs to Jet's pride. Has water, has shade. Most importantly, has prey. Jet looks west, seeing several longhorn silhouettes on the flat plain. Oryx are among the largest prey in the region, also the most dangerous opponents. Weighing over 200 kilo though, horns nearly 1 meter long, ready for close combat with any daring enough. Jet presses behind a sand dune to lurk, but Kalahari has no tall grass for cover. Against white sand, black mane stands out like an ink mark, must borrow dunes as hiding spots. It crawls wide loops downwind, so wind doesn't carry scent to Oryx. Kalahari wind keeps shifting direction, forcing constant readjustment of movement path. Lionesses separate from pride, circling wide to both sides, closing into a pincer grip. On open desert, the encirclement must spread wider so prey can't run too far. After over half an hour crawling on the fiery surface, entire group closes within about 40 meters of Oryx. Jet presses flat to sand, eyes scanning over the dune rim, seeing longhorn pairs grazing. Lionesses, already positioned on both sides, wind-carrying lions sent away. Jet looks toward them, gives a slight nod signaling, then compresses strength into thighs, ready to spring. From behind the sand dune, Jet bursts out, legs gripping sandy surface, launching into full stride, sand billowing thick. Oryx herd startles spinning around, then simultaneously bolts. Oryx run on sand, even faster than lions, because born on sand, their narrow hard hooves grip the surface very well. But two lionesses have already cut off both sides, forcing one to halt. No escape route left. The Oryx whips around facing the hunters. It drops head near to the ground, pointing nearly 1 meter horn pair toward the black mane, like two spear tips poised to strike. Mid-charge, Jet is forced to dodge aside, avoiding one horn tip. but the other sharp point still grazes the shoulder, leaving a wound, only a handspan from the throat. From the left, two lionesses launch in, pouncing on the oryx's haunches, pinning it down on sand. But even falling, the horn pair still swings, one tip stabbing into a lioness's thigh, making her shriek. Immediately, Jet springs forward, locking jaws onto oryx's throat from behind. Facing the horn pair is a death zone, so it chooses the back of the neck, where horns can never reach. Fangs sunk deep into neck, jaw squeezing tight, oryx shakes head, trying to swing horns backward, but straight horns can't reach its own back. The attack from behind has neutralized its most lethal weapons. Oryx struggles, growing weaker, but Jet still squeezes the neck without releasing. Each drop of blood falls onto dry sand surface, then absorbed by the thirsty Kalahari, clean within seconds. Entire pride gathers, tearing the oryx's flesh amid evening sand, eating meat and drinking water from it. Because the desert has no rivers, oryx blood is water itself. Muzzles stained red, blood replacing rain. The lioness with the thigh wound still drags herself to eat with the pride, despite the pain. In Kalahari, where prey is scarce, missing a meal could mean losing the final one. Hunger is fiercer than pain. Full, entire pride stretches out on sand, bellies round and taut, fur matted with dried blood. Jet lies in the center, dark mane covered with white sand, as if just dusted with fine powder. The pride now lacks one small life, the cub left behind on the blazing midday sand. But in return, survivors have new territory, have melons, have prey, though earned in blood. Jet helps lick the wound for the injured lioness. Without infection, the wound will heal after a few weeks. If unlucky, she will become the next offering to the desert. On the flat sand plain far ahead, a new oryx herd has just entered Jet's territory, their sharp horn pairs pointing straight to the sky, ready to strike back at any hunter. Across the entire Kalahari, spanning over 900,000 km2, dozens of lion prides live this way. Eat melons, drink blood instead of water, tread burning sand instead of grass, every meal a duel with swords. The dry season returns to the savanna once more. The sun bakes the earth until it cracks, the last watering holes dry down to bare mud, and the vast grassland is left with nothing but a scorched gold. The lion pride lies listless beneath the trees, ribs jutting out one by one. The cheetah gives up and abandons its territory. The hyena wanders twice the distance and still comes back with nothing. Only there, on that rocky outcrop, a dappled figure still basks leisurely in the sun. Muscle rolls beneath its glossy coat. Nothing about it suggests a creature that has gone without food. This is the leopard, the famed lone wanderer of the savanna. From on high, its golden eyes lock onto a herd of impala grazing at the foot of the cliff. The leopard silently pours itself down the base of the cliff, smooth as a ribbon of silk drifting along. It flattens its body and crawls across the grass, the rosettes on its back blending into the dappled shadows of the ground. Step by step, the distance shrinks. It presses in behind a dry thorn bush, eyes locked on the impala, patiently waiting until only a few strides separate them. The The leopard bursts from its hiding place like a coiled spring released. In just 2 bounds, it lands on the impala's back, pins it to the grass, then closes its jaws on the throat until the final breath. Before long, the scent of blood reaches 3 damp noses downwind. 3 spotted hyenas rise slowly to their feet, their round ears pricking up with excitement. Three hulking shadows come charging in, aggressive and making no effort to hide. Still crouched over its prey, the leopard lifts its head, ears rising at the sound drawing ever closer. It lets out a low, resentful growl, then backs away from the fruit of its own labor. For it knows all too well, a single wound is enough to end an entire solitary life. The hyenas swarm around the impala's carcass, wolfing down the stolen prize. A few dozen paces away, the true hunter can only watch its meal dwindle away. It turns its back and walks off, its gaze still lingering on the towering acacia canopy behind it. Today's lesson is a costly one. Down on the ground, a lone creature can never hold on to its meal. Having lost a large meal, the leopard does not lose heart waiting on luck. It does not leave in search of new lands, but returns to its familiar territory, starting over from the smallest thing. Just half an hour after losing its prey, it has its first bite. A bird swoops down looking for seeds, and a clean pounce closes the moment before it can take wing. A little later, it wades into a shallow stream, its paws plunging down to snatch a fish. For a leopard, a single day can mean 10 small meals, and that is its secret. The next morning, another herd of impala falls into its sight. But the first thing the leopard notices is not the antelope. It is the acacia casting its shadow right beside them. It approaches far more slowly, seeking not a bush, but a tree. Tucked behind the rough acacia trunk, the leopard measures with its eyes the short distance from the herd to the base of the tree. A male impala grazes absent-mindedly, turning its back toward the acacia. The leopard springs out from behind the trunk, slamming it down before the horns can drop into a defensive stance. But this time, instead of resting beside the carcass, it rises at once. Its jaws clamp firmly onto the impala's neck, dragging the heavy body straight toward the base of the tree. The high fork of this tree now becomes the leopard's private kitchen. The meal rests there, out of reach of nearly everything on the ground, waiting for it to return and nibble over the course of several days. Before long, a pack of wild dogs comes charging to where the scent of blood leads. Vultures too spiral down, circle by circle, only to end up bewildered before a patch of grass with nothing left on it. From up in the leaves, a scrap of bone slips from the leopard's mouth and falls to the grass below. That dry, brittle sound reaches the ears of a troop of baboons just passing beneath the acacia. Shrill screeches ring out at once, short and urgent. This species of monkey has a signal all its own for the leopard, not to be confused with the alarm calls for eagles or lions. The troop rushes off in an instant, leaving behind one clumsy little one. On instinct, it scrambles up the tree beside it, the place that has sheltered monkeys from danger for generations. Sadly, the tree cannot save it from this one. Abandoning the impala carcass, the leopard seizes the young monkey. On a single branch in the heart of the barren dry season, there are now 2 meals all for itself. Having lost one of their young, the whole troop wails piteously at the foot of the tree. But that desperate cry is a signal every predator in the region knows by heart. And then, what answers the monkey's cries is a low roar that shakes the very ground. From the grass to the west, the dark mane of a male lion slowly emerges. The leopard instantly presses its body flat against the branch, motionless as a patch of bark. Its spotted coat blends into the flickering play of light and shadow until it dissolves into the leaves. Only when the dark mane vanishes behind the grass does it dare breathe steadily again. Just now, what saved its life was not fang or claw, but a coat of fur and a few sprigs of leaves. Waiting a good while longer, it finally slips down to the ground and quietly makes its way along the edge of the grass. After every upheaval, the leopard always walks a circuit of its territory to check on everything. At a tree on the edge of its territory, its nose suddenly wrinkles in wariness. The bark bears the claw marks of another, and on the wind lingers a scent entirely unfamiliar. The strange scent leads it on a stretch further, to a place where another leopard stands still in the grass. The newcomer has a smaller build. Both stand rooted to the spot, 2 pairs of golden eyes locked on each other and refusing to look away. The territory's owner lowers its body, bares its gleaming white teeth, and lets out a low, muffled growl. That battle ends before it can even begin. The one who came later flattens its ears, drops its gaze, then slowly retreats, choosing defeat to keep its body whole. That forbearance is not cowardice, but the calculation of a lone wanderer. With no kin to care for it, it must keep this body intact at all costs. Back at the acacia, the leopard climbs up to finish off its unfinished meal. The sunlight has begun to fade, but the meat hanging on the branch is still enough for many more days. Right beneath its feet, columns of ants silently haul away the fallen scraps. Even a meal hidden high above ends up, in the end, sustaining countless other lives. The dry season is still long, and at the forest's edge, another shadow looms closer. That one does not climb trees, nor hunt by night, yet it survives in an entirely different way. Dawn over Africa, first light touches the river surface. Thin mist rises from the still water, covering the sandy bank like an ethereal veil. Along the riverbank, footprints in wet sand tell last night's story. Some came to drink and left. Some species disappeared, never to return. In the distance, a baboon troop approaches the riverbank, then stops on high ground, observing the water below, displaying vigilance mechanisms selected through evolutionary process. This river is both life source and boundary between life and death. For small creatures like the baboon troop, each approach is a survival decision. Baboons are among Africa's most intelligent and fierce primates. Gray-brown fur, elongated face, and good eyesight help maintain high vigilance. Their jaws are fearsome weapons. Canines can reach 8 centimeters long, bite force from 500 to 700 pounds per square inch, enough to tear enemy flesh in an instant. They live in troops from several dozen to over 100 individuals, with clear hierarchical social structure helping maintain order and reduce conflict within the group. Baboons are omnivores, consuming from plants to small animals. Flexible diet helps them adapt effectively to harsh conditions of prolonged dry season. Their notable feature is a sophisticated warning system. Different sounds correspond to each threat, from birds of prey above to predators in bushes. But with dangers underwater, warning signals become limited when forced to cross rivers. Survival pressure forces the troop to choose despite existing risks. The troop leader advances, observing the river surface. In the next few seconds, its choice will directly affect the entire troop's safety. Behind, the entire troop waits silently in tension. Mother baboons clutch their young tightly, as delaying too long can also increase attack risk. The water surface is still, flat, and suspiciously calm. In African river ecosystems, silence often conceals lurking potential dangers. A dark shadow over 4 meters long lies motionless beneath murky water. Only eyes and nose protrude, camouflaged effectively like drifting rotten logs. Nile crocodiles are top ambush predators, with morphology virtually unchanged for millions of years. Their pupils are extremely sensitive to movement. Third eyelid supports underwater observation, helping detect prey precisely within hunting range. Nile crocodile bite force exceeds 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush prey bones. Once jaws have closed, almost no force can make them open. As ambush predators, they can lie motionless for extended periods to conserve energy and only attack when opportunity reaches optimal level. The tactic is very simple but extremely effective. Wait for prey to approach, attack in less than 1 second, and drag underwater to drown. Baboons are well aware of danger, while crocodiles are ready to ambush. The encounter between vigilance and silent strength begins right at this river bend. Finally, the troop leader decides to descend into water, each step cautious. The entire troop immediately follows, maintaining tight formation in this life or death choice. Adult males go first, water rising to their bellies. Behind, females hold young tightly, maintaining high vigilance against sudden attack risk. When the troop reaches midstream, water level rises to adult chests. Young cling tightly to mothers to avoid being swept away. Tension reaches peak. Suddenly, the water surface behind erupts. A crocodile charges with terrifying speed. The baboon troop panics, signals warnings. Formation immediately shatters. Individuals in front rush quickly toward opposite bank, while the rear group turns back. Dispersal breaks troop cohesion, making hunting risk increase. In nature, living in groups helps distribute risk. When separated, solitary individuals quickly become the clearest targets in dangerous environments. The crocodile locks target, not chasing the troop, but focusing on separated individual. This is common hunting tactic, prioritizing weak or slow-moving ones. Crocodile jaws close just centimeters from the baboon. Water splashes high. This individual escapes narrowly, rushing ashore at maximum speed thanks to survival reflexes. On both banks, baboons stand panting. The troop is divided by the deadly water. The first river crossing ends with luck, but not everyone made it to the other side. On the old bank, a mother baboon with young is trapped. She looks across to the other side, where most of the troop has safely gathered. Below the water surface, the crocodile has submerged, restoring initial calm. However, that silence is only concealing danger still lurking below. The mother baboon understands she cannot wait long. Lack of food and troop separation diminishes social standing. She must decide quickly to ensure survival chance. On the other side, the troop cannot wait, begins moving into areas with food. Distance gradually increases, forcing the mother baboon under pressure to act urgently. She descends into water. The young clings tightly to mother's back. Cold water gradually submerges the body. Each step is gambling with fate. Having advanced some distance, she steps slowly. The water surface ahead ripples lightly, then falls silent. Mother baboon is vigilant, eyes scanning along the current. From the right side, the crocodile suddenly lunges up without warning signs. At a speed impossible to react to, its jaws aim straight for the young on her back. Teeth sink deep into the young's leg. A piercing cry rings out. Mother baboon grabs her offspring, pulls back, creating a life-and-death tug-of-war in the water. On the bank, the baboon troop scatters. Warning cries ring out continuously, but no one dares enter the water, can only observe from safe distance. Mother baboon resists by instinct, continuously biting, clawing, and jerking. However, her bite force is significantly weaker than the crocodile's, making advantage tilt toward the predator. As the struggle drifts toward shore, the crocodile gradually loses advantage in shallow water. Seizing the rare opportunity, Mother baboon musters strength for one final jerk. The young escapes the crocodile's jaws, but in an instant, the crocodile switches targets and locks jaws onto Mother baboon's leg. The young runs ashore, trembling with leg wound. Another baboon pulls it into the troop's center. It survives, but the price paid doesn't belong to it. Underwater, mother baboon still resists, but the pulling force increasingly tilts toward the predator. Bit by bit, she's drawn away from shallow water. On the bank, cries thin out, then cease completely. The baboon troop helplessly watches, unable to intervene. The outcome is decided and no second miracle occurs. On the water surface, the last ripples vanish. The water continues flowing, reflecting natural law that won't stop operating for losses. The baboon troop leaves the riverbank, quickly reestablishes formation, with the wounded young walking in the troop's center. Life continues despite carrying irreplaceable loss. The young is still too small. It doesn't fully understand what just happened, but survival instinct has deeply carved a life-and-death experience. In nature, victory sometimes is simply being alive. No heroes or villains, only existence continuing in life cycle. Below the river, the crocodile returns to familiar ambush position. It can fast for many weeks, but still patiently waits for prey. Persistence is its key survival weapon. Life by the water always exists in fragile balance, where action and waiting alternate, creating an endless cycle. In the distance, the baboon troop has found an area with food and gradually restores daily behaviors. But the formation is now missing one member. The young with leg wound sits beside another female. It will grow up, will learn to survive, and someday will have to face this river once again. In the silence of the African plains, each species holds a role in nature's endless cycle. Life and death aren't opposites, but two parts of the same flow. Early morning on the African savanna. The air isn't hot yet, but right beneath the ground, life began moving long ago. This is not the land of the strongest, but of the most dangerous. And that boundary is sometimes only a few millimeters long, the length of a fang. Every morning here begins with silent calculations. Who eats whom, who avoids whom, and who carries a weapon that the enemy never sees. Africa has hundreds of venomous species. Many are smaller than a hand, but size doesn't matter. Venom only needs enough time to take effect. This is a biological weapon refined by nature over millions of years. Not for indiscriminate attacks, but to terminate a target with ultimate precision. In nature, two main mechanisms exist. One type attacks the nervous system, fast and silent. The other destroys tissue and blood, slower but harder to stop. The first group is neurotoxins. They don't need strength, just a single touch. And from that moment, time begins to work against the victim. The black mamba is the most typical representative of this group. Up to 4.5 meters long, ground movement speed can reach 20 kilometers per hour. No species escapes faster than it. When threatened, the black mamba raises its forebody. revealing an inky black mouth. It's not a display, but a final warning before attacking. The cobra chooses a different way. It spits venom into the eyes from a distance, causing almost instant blindness. No need to approach, giving the opponent no chance to react. The other group uses hemotoxin. Death does not come immediately, but lingers over time as the body is gradually destroyed from within. The bush viper is the most common hemotoxin carrier in Africa. Though it lacks speed and range, in the savanna, no one sees it before it's too late. The afternoon here changes in ways that are hard to notice. The temperature drops, shadows begin to lengthen, and on a small rock near the forest edge, something is waiting. A field mouse is moving close to the grass, completely normal behavior, foraging, observing, pausing. But nearby, a pair of eyes is watching. Venom doesn't require the host to be large. It requires patience. And on this savanna, patience is something that has been honed over a vast amount of time. To understand what is about to happen, one must know what that moving creature can cause. And the answer, in truth, is terrifyingly simple. The emperor scorpion looks big and heavy, but it isn't the most dangerous. The scarier species are often smaller, yellow, and nearly vanish into the sand. The Deathstalker scorpion is much smaller, but its venom is extremely potent, acting simultaneously on the victim's heart and central nervous system. In the twilight, it stands perfectly still. No threat, no attack. Just existing, with its curved tail behind it already dangerous enough. The bush viper is not as fast as the mamba, but it hides perfectly. No sound, no movement, and when it strikes, everything ends in less than 0.25 seconds. The viper's jaw has a special folding mechanism. When attacking, the fangs spring out like hypodermic needles, piercing deep into the tissue and pumping venom directly into the body. Hemotoxin destroys red blood cells and the ability for blood to clot. Victims do not die from the wound. They die because the blood no longer has the ability to clot. The mouse stands still, unaware that it has fallen into the crosshairs. The snake doesn't need to see or hear. It only needs to sense the heat from the prey's body. No need to see or hear, just a temperature difference. Anything warmer than the environment becomes a target. Because of this, the viper causes the most deaths each year. The distance is less than 30 centimeters. The mouse stops, then takes another step, and the snake remains motionless, waiting for the exact moment to strike. In less than half a second, the fangs spring out, embedding deep and pumping venom into the prey's body. Everything happens so fast, it is almost impossible to perceive. The mouse recoils. Pain reflexes triggered, but the venom is already in the blood. From that moment, the internal destruction process begins. The viper does not give chase. Within 10 to 20 minutes, the prey will begin to lose orientation. The snake only needs to follow the remaining heat trail. Elsewhere, a small spider also carries its own venom, enough to destroy tissue from within in a slower but no less dangerous way. A brown spider bite is almost painless at first. The victim often doesn't realize it until the skin area begins to necrose hours later. Neurotoxins strike the body's control system quickly. Hemotoxins destroy from within, slower but more prolonged and harder to control. Afternoon has arrived. The viper still lies still, not moving, but its body still silently monitors every change around it. The mouse begins to move more slowly. Hemotoxin has begun to take effect. The body is losing coordination. This is the final sign the predator is waiting for. The viper begins to move, not rushing, each step precise along the heat trail. This is the process of retrieving what already belonged to it after the previous attack. The viper is not the strongest nor the fastest, but hemotoxin allows it to take down prey larger than its body without needing a direct confrontation. After all, the savanna is silent again. Not a peace, but a balance re-established after every encounter. The viper returns to its familiar spot. It will rest for many days to digest, but the venom has already begun to regenerate, starting now. Not far away, a black mamba glides across the high ground. On the same savanna, many venom mechanisms coexist without the species being aware of each other. The mamba does not actively attack, but when cornered, it can bite repeatedly, each time dangerous enough to take down large prey. Its venom attacks the nervous system, causing the body to gradually shut down. The victim remains conscious, but loses the ability to breathe in silence. The cobra chooses another way. Its venom combines neurotoxins and tissue destruction, and it can spit from a distance without touching the opponent. In the twilight, it faces a meerkat. Both stand still. The distance remains the same, but the advantage is leaning toward the snake. In the world of venom, danger does not always lie with the largest. The small, hard-to-see species often pose the greatest risk. The yellow-tailed scorpion is very small, but carries potent neurotoxins. Just one sting is enough to be dangerous if not treated in time. This third killer, it doesn't hunt with speed or ambush. The scorpion exists by becoming invisible, and in the darkness, invisibility is the perfect tactic. At the same time, the black mamba begins to move. This is the time it operates most effectively on the savanna. Nearby, a mongoose appears. It has a partial resistance to venom, but it is not immune. Every mistake still carries a price. The black mamba detects the mongoose and stops. It raises its head to observe, not hiding. This is a calculating posture, only deciding to attack when the moment is clear. The mongoose also circles the snake. Both sides look at each other for a few seconds, enough to understand the opponent. It has venom resistance, but that doesn't make the mamba back down. The mamba strikes. Quick, clean. Only the head and neck lunging forward. The bite is precise, venom entering the blood almost instantly. There is no chance for correction. The mongoose runs around, its body reacting immediately to the venom. But the mamba does not chase. It stands still, watching. To it, one precise strike is enough. The mamba turns its head, disappearing into the darkness. No rush. Behind it, the mongoose has recovered. Its body fought off a dose of venom that wasn't enough to kill. The savanna returns to its familiar rhythm. There are no absolute winners, only species that continue to exist in the way that suits them best. The viper is still coiled there. The scorpion moves on the ground nearby. The mamba has disappeared. 3 species, 3 ways of existing, and no species needs to be the largest. Looking at the viper in the night, no aggression is seen, only absolute patience. And sometimes it is the waiting itself that is most dangerous. Venom is not a weapon of destruction, it is a tool of balance. Each species controls another, creating a system where everything is closely linked. Every year there are thousands of deaths due to snakes, but they themselves also prevent many pathogens from spreading. In nature, nothing is simple. The African night is not truly silent. It is only quieter to human senses. Under rocks, in the grass, under the sand, everything is still operating. There are no names for what takes place. No good, no evil. Just a system of existence older than any language that ever appeared. And the question is not which species is the most dangerous, but what would happen if one link in this system disappeared? A cheetah runs up, lowering head, sniffing the small motionless companion lying on grass. No response, only wind blowing through spotted fur and silence enveloping the grassland. In the distance, 2 yellow shadows remain there, one individual bearing full injuries. On the plains, no victory is priceless. Two hours earlier, early sun just touched Masai Mara grassland, and wildlife's rhythm began awakening. Under acacia canopy, a cheetah group rests with cubs. This is Zuri's family, one of Masai Mara's largest coalitions. Cheetahs are the planet's fastest big cat, speed reaching over 100 kilometers per hour. But in exchange is slender body and weak bite force, creating disadvantage in direct confrontation. Therefore, cheetahs typically form sibling coalitions, hunting and defending territory together. And Zuri's family has many adults, a rare number, strong enough to control wide territory. But even that coalition cannot protect cubs continuously. Individuals under 6 months still have high mortality rate from lions, hyenas, and birds of prey. This morning, 3 adult males left the group hunting, leaving females to protect 2 cubs, force reduced and risk immediately increased. Two cheetah cubs are playing with rabbit carcass. Mother brought this morning, pulling, shaking, and pouncing each other. They play about 30 meters from acacia, completely losing vigilance. On empty grassland, distance becomes weakness. Group lies under tree canopy, leaving two cubs exposed within perfect range for opportunists. To the east, about 200 meters away in tall grass, a solitary lioness on patrol has detected movement. It lowers body, focusing completely on two separated cheetah cubs. Lions don't hunt cheetahs for food, but to eliminate competing rivals. This behavior is common, helping reduce future resource pressure. Distance gradually closes. Lioness creeps low, nearly invisible, while two cheetah cubs still play absorbed, not yet experienced enough to recognize threat. 20 meters. Lioness compresses muscles. Hind legs press earth. Under tree canopy, an adult cheetah raises head, scenting danger, but already too late. Lioness bursts into speed, 140 kilograms charging through low grass. Two cheetah cubs panic, running two directions, but legs not fast enough. One immediately caught in lioness's jaws. Remaining cheetah cub rushes toward two adults. Caught individualized still, no response, as lioness stops and turns, head facing charging group. Lioness doesn't retreat. It moves, holding cheetah cub like living shield, facing adult individuals growling with message. Advance further, cub will pay price. Two adult cheetahs advance few steps, then stop. They recognize the stalemate, when mass difference makes direct confrontation nearly hopeless. But cheetahs don't fight with strength, but with tactics, continuously distracting and dividing pressure from two sides to lock lioness's reaction rhythm. Harassment tactics begin. One advances forward, growling, drawing attention. Others circle behind, exploiting blind spot, forcing lioness to spin, continuously defending. Lioness gradually loses control, simultaneously holding prey in jaws while defending two sides, cannot roar or counterattack, locked in disadvantageous position. One from behind lunges, clawing lioness's flank, then immediately retreats. Lioness whips around, but gap has shifted direction while another continues closing in. After many minutes of harassment, lioness gradually exhausts from continuous spinning, jaws tired from holding prey, and calmness replaced by rage. And that's what cheetahs are waiting for. When lioness loses control, it must attack and release jaws, self-opening, the mistake tactics aim for. Cheetah from behind lunges again, clawing deep into lioness's back, wounded through fur layer. Lioness roars, turns body in rage, and moment jaws open, cheetah cub falls. Lioness doesn't release from mercy, but because counterattack instinct overwhelms holding prey, immediately shifting to direct confrontation. An adult cheetah rushes to where cub just fell, lowers checking, but small body no longer responds, completely motionless. And that moment changes everything. It carries cub's body away. Eyes go cold, pack instinct fully activated. Right then, 3 adult cheetahs hunting return, abandoning prey immediately and charging straight back to group. Adult individuals converge, completing formation. First-time lioness faces entire coalition. Cheetah group surrounds completely, eyes unblinking, bodies lowered. Force balance tilts decisively, and lioness recognizes this. Tactics upgrade. They take turns moving, forcing lioness to continuously spin left, right, behind, but every direction blocked, making encirclement increasingly tight. Attack strikes begin intensifying. Each one lunges clawing, then withdraws immediately. Not fatal, but eroding stamina through each defensive spin rhythm. Lioness roars and counterattacks, but misses. Each lunge makes it lose more strength, while opponents always stay out of reach. 10 minutes pass. Lioness gradually slows, swipes weaker, body turns heavier, and distance compressed from 5 meters down to 2. Encirclement tightens each beat. Claw marks thicken across body, not fatal, but enough to gradually drain strength. First time, lioness lowers center of gravity, shifting to defensive stance. Cheetah group recognizes the change. When the strong begin defending, battle has reversed. Attack rhythm increases, pressure pushed even higher. But battle will stop there. On Masai Mara, no creature is completely alone, and lioness is no exception. Earlier roar has echoed farther than cheetah group's calls. Ground trembles slightly. From the east, a deep, heavy roar tears through plains, bringing massive yellow shadow charging, dark black mane, rippling muscles, answering the call and advancing straight into battle. Cheetah group immediately flees in unison. Balance completely shifts. What they dared do against exhausted lioness, one mise, cannot apply before two powerful hunters. Male lion stands beside mate, not roaring, not pursuing, only silently staring straight at cheetah group, and that presence enough to close the battle. Cheetah group backs away, no more attacking, no more encircling. When coalition faces coalition, bene, they cannot defeat two lions. Afternoon sun descends on Masai Mara. Male lion lies licking wounds for lioness. Claw marks will heal, but lesson remains. The strong can still be eroded by numbers. And cheetahs also carry their own lesson. Coalition can erode solitary lioness, but cannot win when male lion appears. Each survival layer has limits. On this vast plain, conflict between lions and cheetahs occurs nearly daily, an arms race lasting millions of years. But today is exceptional. Rarely do cheetahs dare ambush, pressing lion into defense. Zuri's family transcended instinct, attacking the stronger. Price of ambush clear on both sides. Lioness weakened, requiring rescue. Cheetah group lost cub, a future link in Zuri's family, never given chance to mature. In nature, all behavior aligns with survival instinct. Lions eliminate potential rivals, while cheetahs protect next generation. No good or evil exists, only selection and consequence. Abandoned cub carcass will quickly attract vultures, insects, and microorganisms, initiating decomposition process, an essential link in nutrient cycle. Zuri's family begins stabilizing. Adult individual surrounding, cub at center, shielded, minimizing separation risk to maximum. Two lions still there. Lioness rests lying down, male stands guard beside. They'll return to territory tomorrow morning and continue patrol. At conflict point, grass gradually stands back up. Blood seeps into earth, fur scattered by wind. By tomorrow morning, traces will nearly vanish, only a few strands remaining. Survival on plains is problem without answer. Strength beats numbers, numbers beat individual, then coalition defeated by larger coalition. Somewhere on Masai Mara tonight, Zuri's family will lie close together under starry sky. Entire group will surround remaining cub in defensive formation. Evening wind blows across Masai Mara, carrying scent of wet grass and earth dust. Claw marks on lioness's back have dried, while cheetah cub carcass gradually covered by ants, all traces fading with time. But lesson not erased. Lioness becomes more cautious when facing large cheetah groups, while Zuri's group keeps cubs close to formation, each side accumulating experience from their own scars. As last light leaves Masai Mara, plains sink into invisible sounds, where just 1 second of carelessness can trade for irretrievable loss. The price for those who start conflict sometimes is those who must pay most dearly. Dawn over the Serengeti paints the plains golden to the horizon. Air seemingly quiet, but beneath, every creature has begun moving. Every creature here lives under one law: hunt or be hunted. But that boundary isn't fixed, always changing with each moment. This morning, in an acacia tree amid grassland, a small bird nest hides in high branches. Two chicks, days old, huddled together, waiting for mother. But when mother bird is absent, a gap immediately appears. Another creature silently climbs from tree base up in absolute silence. Black mamba, over 2.5 meters long, among Africa's fastest snakes. Extremely powerful venom, but now it doesn't need to use it. Chicks cannot run. It presses close to nest edge, head entering inside, preparing to attack. Panicked chick cries immediately ring out, tearing morning silence. That cry doesn't vanish into thin air. 50 meters away, a creature foraging immediately raises head. Mother secretary bird has heard her young. Secretary bird, over 1 meter tall, famous for snake hunting ability. Long stilt-like legs with hard talons create stomps with force 5 times body weight. It charges toward the acacia, long legs striding powerfully through grassland, wings beating hard, taking flight. It doesn't run but flies, reaching tree base in just seconds. It sees the snake right in the nest, head already in attack position. Mother bird doesn't hesitate, immediately lunging onto lower branches, closing in from above. Mamba withdraws head from nest, opens mouth threatening, revealing characteristic black mouth interior. But secretary bird doesn't back down. First stomp strikes down middle of snake body. Mamba writhes violently, coiling back, seeking chance to bite back. but mother bird withdraws leg faster. Mamba falls from branch, striking ground. Secretary bird lunges after, stomps several more times, confirming target motionless, then returns to check nest. In just minutes, the hunter became prey. Mamba fallen under secretary bird's feet. Speed and venom don't always beat precision and experience. But the reversal chain on the plains hasn't stopped there. At Serengeti's edge, the river is where advantage can vanish after just one wrong step. A male lion advances to riverbank. Dark brown mane, rippling muscles, over 200 kilograms of pure strength, only coming to drink after a long night. It lowers head, muzzle touches a river surface, slowly drinking water. Eyes half closed, vigilance decreases, a rare state for the plains' apex. A few meters away, two pairs of eyes have already surfaced on water. Nile crocodile ambushed at bottom since early morning, waiting for prey to step into attack range. Water surface explodes. Crocodile lunges up, clamping tight on lion's muzzle, then pulling hard, underwater, where grassland king's advantage immediately vanishes. Lion roars, bites back at crocodile's mouth. Over 200 kilograms of muscle on land, resisting 500 kilograms pulling force underwater. Surrounding lions don't dare approach. Crocodile spins around. Death roll pulls lion's head underwater, when claws and large fangs nearly lose effect. But male lion isn't ordinary prey. It pulls crocodile to shallow water, front legs striking back at crocodile, beginning to find way to retreat onto shore. After over a minute of struggle, lion gets ashore, but crocodile still bites its tail. Lion jerks hard one last time, springs back onto shore. Only a bite clamping on empty air remains. Lion lies on shore, breathing heavily, muzzle torn. It stands turning back, walking away, understanding that every kingdom has borders. Underwater, crocodile silently sinks to bottom. Hunt failed, but that patient ambusher will still wait for next less fortunate prey. Male lion moves far from river. Brown mane long since dried, 200 kilograms still majestic. But blood scent spreading on a wind is signal opportunists won't miss. It stops amid grassland, lies down, licking wounds. Pain still present, but cleaning is mandatory because infection can kill slower than fangs and claws. Not far away, spotted hyena pack, humped shoulders, has scented lion blood spreading on wind. This is both rare prize and revenge opportunity. Spotted hyenas have top bite force among carnivores, enough to crush buffalo bones. One individual cannot face male lion, but entire pack is different. Hyena pack advances, forming encirclement. Laughing sounds ring out like coordination signals. Male lion raises head, recognizing it's surrounded. It stands roaring loudly, brown mane bristling, displaying authority. But pain remains, and hyena pack recognizes this is an injured individual. They advance further. A few lunge biting hind legs, then retreat probing. Lion counterattacks, but bite misses due to pain. Hyena pack immediately recognizes that sluggishness. Others begin from behind, biting thighs and tail. Each time lion turns around, another direction gets attacked, making defense gradually collapse. Male lion resists fiercely. One swipe hurls hyena far away, but remaining ones continue tightening circle, taking turns biting, making it gradually exhaust. After minutes, lion slows, hind leg buckles slightly. Hyena pack recognizes advantage. Laughing sounds intensify. Attack rhythm faster. Ending approaching. Then another roar tears through space, deeper and stronger. Entire hyena pack immediately freezes, turns looking toward grassland. From afar, another male lion appears, larger and stronger, dark black mane. It charges straight into formation, breaking encirclement, forcing hyena pack to immediately reassess situation. Black-maned male lion swipes nearest hyena, making it tumble. Next strike tears shoulder of one biting injured lion. Hyena pack immediately breaks formation. Entire pack turns, retreating, no longer maintaining coordination. Injured one runs slower. In an instant, battle completely reverses. Two male lions stand close together. Injured one breathing heavily, bites overlapping. The other vigilantly surveys surroundings. Alliance helps them overcome all dangers. On the plains, size creates advantage, but alliance is the factor determining long-term survival ability. In Africa, crocodiles are lords underwater. But across the Atlantic, in South America's Pantanal wetlands, relationship between big cats and reptiles operates differently. In shallow water area, Cayman crocodile sunbathes. After meal, head and back protruding, in state of lost vigilance, it exposes weakness at skull apex. Above water's edge, on low overhanging branch, jaguar is observing. This is big cat famous for hunting cayman, with skull-piercing bite from above. Weighing over 100 kilograms, jaguar possesses bite force superior to body size, enough to pierce turtle shell and cayman skull. It doesn't need speed, only one precise strike. Jaguar doesn't jump from branch, but slides down to water's edge, walking underwater in absolute silence, closing on cayman in just meters. At 1 meter remaining, it compresses entire body, hind legs pressing deep into mud. Cayman still motionless, completely unaware of danger right above skull. Jaguar bursts from water surface, lunging onto prey's back and sinking jaws straight into skull apex, piercing through bone into brain. Cayman jerks once, then motionless. In just seconds, everything ends. Jaguar holds jaws tight to confirm prey, then drags heavy carcass, wading back through shallow water to high shore. In Africa, Nile crocodiles dominate water surface, where even lions must avoid. In South America, cayman faces cat that doesn't fear water, can be brought down by one precise strike. Dusk descends on 2 continents. In Serengeti, 2 male lions lie close together under tree canopy. In Pantanal, jaguar vanishes into forest. Each carries its own story. In nature, every reversal begins with one small mistake. choosing wrong position, wrong timing, or wrong opponent. On the plains, there's no absolute ruler. Lions strong on land but weak underwater. Crocodiles dominate rivers but inferior on shore. Mamba fastest still loses to secretary bird. Hyenas strong jaws but lose to lion alliance. And that cycle never stops. Tomorrow morning, another individual will try its luck again, and just one small deviation is enough to create different outcome. Survivors continue moving. Secretary bird protects nest. Lions rest under canopy. Jaguar hides on high branch. Hyenas return to pack with still fresh wounds. Dusk gradually fades over Serengeti. Cricket sounds replace bird calls. Wind carries scent of wet grass. River shifts from orange to purple, yielding to night. Survivors prepare for darkness. Secretary bird guards young. Lions lie close together. Jaguar licks muzzle on high branch across the ocean. Wind gradually erases all traces. Ants clean bones. Water washes blood. Grass covers claw marks. When night falls, plains return to empty state. As last light leaves the Serengeti, plains whisper with thousand sounds of transition. In Africa or South America, the law unchanging. No absolute predator, only moments, positions, and mistakes enough to reverse everything. From above, the East African savanna appears as an endless golden canvas, where the shadow of large wings glides silently in parallel with a dark streak moving close to the ground. Beneath an acacia tree, a pride of lions rests after a meal. Bloodstains still ring their mouths, completely unaware of the brown eagle circling overhead and gradually lowering its arc. Under the low grass nearby, a black mamba nearly 3 meters long slides across a trail, carrying in its fangs enough venom to kill 10 grown adults. The eagle suddenly folds its wings and dives, talons driving straight into the mamba's midsection. Wind screams through the feathers as the large shadow rapidly covers the grass below. Talons pin the target to the red dust. The mamba immediately coils in resistance, whipping its head around at extreme speed, its venom-loaded fangs ready to strike. The mamba tightens around the eagle's wing, locking it in place and leaving the eagle thrashing helplessly as the venomous fangs continue searching for an angle on the neck. The eagle pecks repeatedly into the snake's body, but each strike only causes the mamba to tighten further. Two bodies roll across the red earth, dust billowing in clouds, feathers and scales tangling together. The sound of the violent struggle causes the lion pride to raise their heads. Two females rise and move slowly forward, curiously watching the cloud of red dust rolling up along the trail. One lowers its muzzle toward the brawl. The mamba immediately releases the eagle's wing, rears its head high, spreads its hood wide, and lets out a loud hiss of warning. The lioness stops. It recognizes that what stands before it is not prey, but a venomous threat. The mamba slowly slides out of the red dust and disappears into the low grass. The eagle snaps upright, spreading wings that are now slightly misaligned. Both lions still stand nearby as it fans its neck feathers and opens its beak in warning after the life or death struggle. The two lions advance no further. The eagle quickly gathers itself and labors heavily off the ground, circling once before fading into the rising thermals above the savanna. Beneath the low grass, the mamba has vanished, leaving behind a patch of earth that even the top of the food chain chose to avoid. In the end, all three species walked away. No true winner, only creatures that understood survival sometimes matters more than continuing the fight. Far from the red patch of earth, a secretary bird, nearly 1.3 meters tall, strides across the blazing grassland, its scale-armored legs ready for snake hunts across the ground. For this bird, the legs are the weapon, thick scales resistant to venom and kicks of tremendous force, moving steadily through the dry grass in search of the next prey. Ahead, a cobra nearly 2 meters long slides across open ground. The secretary bird immediately halts, lowers its neck, and holds a safe distance. The cobra quickly rears up, spreads its hood wide, and opens its mouth in a threat display. But the secretary bird only steps slowly sideways, forcing the snake to rotate with it. The snake suddenly lunges forward, but the moment its body is fully extended, a strike like a thunderbolt drives straight into its midsection, slamming the cobra down onto the red earth. On the next attack, the secretary bird again leaps backward at the right moment and delivers a reverse kick into the oncoming head, sending the snake staggering. By the third exchange, the cobra is slower. A kick straight down to the top of the head sends the snake's body thrashing across the ground, unable to raise its neck again. The secretary bird delivers a few more decisive kicks, then picks up the cobra's body and walks on across the grassland, as though the hunt just completed was nothing more than a routine part of the afternoon. It will continue sweeping through the grass until dusk, using its long legs and patience to bring down one snake after another with precise strikes. The sun-scorched grassland belongs to those who hunt from above. But to the west, among red rocks and scorching thorn bushes, another snake hunter appears, one that works at ground level through pure speed. A semi-desert stretches with cracked red rock and scattered cactus, as a small shape darts through the gaps in the stones so fast that the dust has not yet risen before it is gone. That is the roadrunner, a bird that hunts with long legs, a tail like a rudder, and a ground speed exceeding 40 kilometers per hour rather than wings. Ahead, a desert snake slides across open ground. The roadrunner spots the prey and immediately changes course, driving straight toward it without slowing. The snake quickly coils into a defensive posture, but the roadrunner simply circles continuously, forcing the opponent to keep changing direction until the movements of head and body begin to fall out of sync. The snake's strike misses. The moment its head extends forward, the roadrunner has already looped behind it, driving its beak hard into the back of the neck and slamming the snake's body against the red rock. Keeping the prey gripped in its beak, the roadrunner repeatedly slams the snake's body against the rock until the entire body goes limp and stops responding. Right where the chase ends, the hunter begins eating its prey. Each portion of the snake's body disappears between strong jerks and steady swallowing. On this arid land, the window of survival is always brief. Just minutes ago, a living creature was finding its way to survive. Now it has become the energy source sustaining another life. Across the savanna and semi-desert, each bird hunts in its own way. One uses talons, one relies on the force of its kicks, and the roadrunner depends entirely on speed. Every snake hunt between savanna and semi-desert is a gamble, because just one successful bite from a black mamba or a cobra is enough to end the hunter permanently. The eagle survived that morning because the mamba's fangs glanced off the thick neck feathers. Had they pierced the skin, the venom would have brought it down from the sky within minutes. For the secretary bird, the leg scales are the final line between life and death, because if the cobra could reach the unprotected thigh, the outcome would be entirely different. The roadrunner is different. No armor, no grip strength, only raw speed. Every loop around the snake is a bet of its life for the sake of its young. The brown eagle perches on a dry branch, wings pressed to its body, waiting for the bruised muscles to recover after the struggle. Further out in the afternoon grassland, the secretary bird still paces slowly through the yellow grass, knowing snakes are most active as temperatures begin to fall. Across the semi-desert, the mother roadrunner continues driving through the scorching rock crevices to find food. And beneath the acacia tree, the lions still lie there. And every time the wind stirs the grass ahead, they immediately raise their heads and look toward the place where the mamba once disappeared. Tomorrow, the eagle will circle the sky again. The secretary bird will step through the yellow grass, and the roadrunner will continue racing through the red rock. But the snakes will continue to exist as well. The race between talon and venom has no finish line, only the next round. When the last ray of sunlight leaves the savanna, the mamba still slides silently through the wind-stirred grass, fast enough and venomous enough that no one wants to cross its path a second time. In the scorching semi-desert, a pit viper lies motionless on a rock, two heat-sensing pits between its eyes and nostrils continuously scanning the environment around it. In its world, every warm-blooded creature appears as a moving point of light against the cool stone. Mice, lizards, and ground-foraging birds alike. A mouse steps out from a thorn bush about 30 centimeters away, completely silent. But the faint heat radiating from its body is already clearly visible in the predator's sensory system. The snake strikes with blinding speed, fangs driving precisely into the mouse's neck before the prey even has time to realize when it was first detected. The venom begins breaking down the prey's tissue from the inside. By the time the snake swallows, decomposition has already run ahead of the stomach. As swallowing begins, the snake's flexible jaw gradually widens to draw the entire mouse body inward in slow but precise alternating contractions. But heat sensing is not the only way snakes dominate the ground. Elsewhere, a giant hunts using nothing but muscle and patience sustained over hours. In the dry season, beside a river, most of the African rock python's body lies submerged in the mud at the water's edge, exposing only its eyes as it waits quietly for prey to draw near. A herd of impala slowly approaches the waterline. One female separates from the group and lowers her head to drink right at the edge of the mud, the exact spot where the python has been lying in ambush all morning. The mud surface explodes as the python launches upward, its backward curving teeth locking onto the prey's neck, while rings of muscle instantly coil around the ribcage, completely suppressing any movement. No crushing of bones, no tearing of flesh. It simply locks down each breath in turn until the impala goes still and the water's edge sinks back into silence. The python widens its jaws and alternately draws each section of the impala's body into its stomach over nearly an hour before lying motionless to digest over the following weeks. The python slides into the water, half submerged, eyes closed. Powerful stomach acid will dissolve bones, horn, and hooves. But this requires days of total stillness, and that is also the moment of greatest vulnerability. Across the savanna, not every snake needs to crush its prey to death. Some need only a single bite for neurotoxic venom to complete the rest of the hunt. The black mamba, nearly 3 meters long, with extreme speed on the ground and enough venom to kill animals many times its own size. This afternoon, a mamba is moving through low grass when a secretary bird spots it and blocks its path with thick scaled legs built for hunting snakes. The mamba immediately raises its head and opens its characteristically black mouth, while the secretary bird slowly circles just outside striking range, forcing its opponent to constantly pivot to track it. The mamba suddenly strikes forward, but the bird sidesteps and delivers a thundering kick to the fully extended body. The mamba strikes again, this time low and close to the ground, targeting the unscaled thigh of the secretary bird. Its fangs find their mark, causing the bird to recoil, its steps beginning to falter. The secretary bird gradually withdraws from the confrontation and turns to leave, the first time it has chosen to retreat. The mamba lowers its head and glides away in the opposite direction, letting the venom complete the rest. But not every confrontation with a mamba ends cleanly. This morning, a brown eagle nearly paid with its life after letting a black mamba coil tight around its wing. The mamba could not find an angle to bite through the thick neck feathers. It loosens its coils to reposition, and the eagle immediately seizes the opening, wings beating erratically as it breaks free from the ground. Those are 3 capabilities that snakes have evolved to dominate the ground. But evolution did not stop there. In the tropical rainforest of Southeast Asia, one species has left the ground behind entirely. Tropical rainforest blanketed in dense leaf canopy and heat rising from the warm earth below. On a branch 30 meters up, a slender green body lies motionless in the light filtering through the canopy. The flying snake has no wings and no gliding membrane, but when it launches from a branch, its body flattens, beflattens, and spreads wide, then glides through the open air like a living ribbon through the ancient forest. 10 meters, then 15 meters, it glides between canopy layers without touching the ground, faster than climbing and safer than descending into a world full of predators below. Landing on a branch, the flying snake coils itself, flicks its tongue to pick up scent, then follows a lizard through the canopy, a race between wingless creatures. But whether hunting by gliding, constricting, or striking, every snake faces the same challenge: swallowing prey whole and intact without hands to tear it apart or teeth to chew. Beyond hunting, snakes possess another trait rarely found elsewhere in the animal kingdom: shedding their entire old skin in a single piece from head to tail. Rubbing its head against rough rock and then pushing forward, the old skin gradually inverts and peels back, revealing a fresh layer of bright new scales beneath. Shedding is not only about allowing the body to continue growing, it also eliminates parasites, bacteria, and accumulated damage, like a rebirth from within the old skin. In the days before shedding, they are nearly blind as the old skin covers their eyes, making the body sluggish and more vulnerable to attack than at any other time. For this reason, they typically hide in rock crevices, dark burrows, or hollow tree bases for many days at a stretch, until the old skin has fully slipped away and their eyes are ready for the next hunt. Heat sensing, constriction, venom injection, aerial gliding, swallowing prey whole, or shedding an entire skin. Any one of these abilities alone is enough for a snake to dominate its own environment. In the semi-desert, the pit viper still lies on the warm rock, waiting for the next heat signature. Farther on, the rock python with a belly stretched tight and heavy after its hunt. Elsewhere on the savanna, the black mamba has vanished into the low grass, while the flying snake continues to coil among the canopy of the tropical rainforest. On the dry rock, the shed skin lies behind like a final trace of one act of rebirth, before ants drag it away and it disappears entirely from nature. Over 3,000 species of snakes exist across nearly every continent. No legs, no wings, no external ears, yet older than most mammal species alive today. What they share is a body that never stops growing. After each shed, bones lengthen, muscles thicken, and the new version is always larger than before. The pit viper that hunts mice today will one day hunt rabbits. The mamba will eventually bring down an eagle in the next confrontation. Every living snake is a draft of a larger version to come. And somewhere on this planet, an egg has just cracked open, a forked tongue tasting the air for the first time before learning how to hunt and survive. Within a few weeks, it will strike for the first time, constrict for the first time, swallow for the first time. And if it survives the first year, the first shed skin will be smaller than a human hand. The final one may stretch longer than 5 meters. They leave behind no roar and no territory to assert their existence. Only shed skins as evidence that the body continues to grow after each act of survival. When the last ray of sunlight leaves the ground, the wind carries a thin, light snakeskin drifting across the grassland. It will tear and vanish, but the creature that shed it has already grown larger and is moving on toward the next hunt. The grassland of southern Africa, in the middle of the dry season, earth cracked open in great patches, grass burned flat, and the last water source vanished many weeks ago. But deep beneath the dry surface, a creature still exists. Its body nearly shut down, metabolism drastically reduced to hold on to its last reserves of moisture. Through months without eating or drinking, heart beating slowly, waiting for the familiar signal that will wake the body back to life. The sky to the west begins to darken, black clouds rolling low and carrying a damp wind. Then the first drops of rain fall onto the dry earth and seep into the cracks. The rain grows heavier, softening the parched soil, water pooling in small patches across the cracked surface, carrying moisture and new vitality to the arid land. Then the earth stirs. A crack widens, mud bursts upward, and from below, a large head with amber eyes slowly rises after months of concealment. The African bullfrog has a body as dense as a mass of muscle sunk in mud, jaws occupying nearly half its head, lined with small spike-like teeth. Once prey has entered, there is no escape. A body not built for running, it only needs to lie still and wait for prey to come to it. And after months of starvation, the hunting instinct rises back with full force. Small insects crawl across the wet mud. Another bullfrog lies watching the ground, its body blending almost completely into the mud color. A millipede passes close. The bullfrog's mouth snaps open, tongue fires out, jaws close. From the moment the prey touches down to the moment it disappears takes half a second. 10 minutes. Dozens of insects have vanished. The frog makes use of the brief rainy days to rapidly recover the energy burned away through the entire dry season. But insects are only the appetizer. For them, anything that fits in the mouth is food. And around the newly formed water pools, larger prey gradually appears. A field mouse steps out from the wet grass, searching for seeds along the water's edge, nose down low, completely unaware that death is waiting just ahead. It takes one more step, then the mud explodes. The frog's mouth snaps open, swallowing the mouse whole, locking every struggle down with the sharp teeth lining its mouth. The eyeballs press downward to help push the prey deeper into the throat. The mouse disappears, hind legs kicking weakly, then going still. The belly swells, but the mouth is already ready for the next one. 2 weeks after the rain, the savanna is drying again. Insects and small reptiles are more active, and the bullfrog has left the water pool, sitting motionless like a lump of dry mud on the red earth. A small snake slides past, just 20 centimeters away, tongue flickering, head raised to probe the environment. It is still too small to recognize the danger directly in front of it. The snake glides across the frog's field of view. A strike launches upward, misses. Red earth flies up as the prey attacks and tries to find a way out. The second lunge lands true. Jaws lock onto the head. Spiked teeth drive deep. The snake's body coils and tightens around the frog, but is pressed flat against the ground. The frog begins to swallow. The grassland returns to quiet. The frog, lying still under the warm sun, belly rounded and full, beginning the slow process of digestion after a series of heavy meals under the sunlight slowly returning. The rainy season brings not only food, but the opportunity to breed. when all activity must happen quickly before the last drop of water disappears. At the largest water pool in the area, dozens of males gather, throats swelling as deep calls roll across the savanna, drawing females and staking out control of the breeding center. The strongest male holds the central position where the water is deepest, while others ram, press, and bite each other to win the only chance to continue their lineage. When the female arrives, mating is quick, eggs are fertilized immediately, and cling to moss and grass, beginning a life cycle that must outrace the receding water. Tadpoles hatch, thousands of tiny bodies swimming frantically in the warming pool, eating algae and each other to grow, because their life cycle is shorter than the pool sustaining them. Many weeks pass, the harsh sun returns, the pool shrinks day by day from a wide pond to a small puddle. Tadpoles packed together in a life source that is steadily running out. And in the middle of the shrinking pool, the father frog stays. He looks at the mud ridge dividing two pools of water, then quietly uses his hind legs to break through the mud, channeling his young through to the water on the other side. After hours of digging mud, under the blazing sun, his strength is spent, skin dry, eyes half closed. Yet he has held on to the chance of life for thousands of tadpoles. A smaller frog enters the territory being guarded. But for the bullfrog, a smaller member of its own species can sometimes also become food. The lunge happens quickly and decisively. As the dry season turns back, the instinct to protect and the instinct to hunt exist within the same body. Tadpoles begin to grow legs, some metamorphosing into frogs in fewer than 3 weeks, fingernail-sized, leaving the muddy pool to step into the high-risk world above the waterline. But the moment they reach the bank, the young frogs face hunting birds, snakes around the water's edge, and other adult frogs, because when hungry, this species does not distinguish its own kind. Most do not survive the first week. Of thousands of eggs, only a few will still be alive by the following rainy season. But those that remain will grow into monsters like their father. The pool has dried completely. The last tadpoles have left, and the father frog gazes silently at the empty patch of earth, sitting at the edge of dry mud, sensing the heat of the dry season slowly returning. Then the old instinct wakes. It begins to dig, hind legs driving hard, body sinking gradually into the hardening mud, preparing for the next long sleep. Mud slowly covers the back, the head, then both eyes, leaving behind a water-retaining membrane that gradually encases the body like a survival cocoon for the dry months ahead. The earth cracks open again, grass burns flat under the scorching sun, the water pools vanish entirely, and deep below the dry ground, the bullfrog lies still with a slowing heart, waiting for the next rain. A young frog that survived the rainy season sits near the drying bank. No larger than a coin, it has just caught its first ant. Life starts here. If it survives the first dry season, it will burrow into a mud cocoon like its parents, then emerge after the rains, larger, stronger, with a mouth that grows wider with every hunting season. The hot wind sweeps across the savanna. The cracked, dry earth is completely silent, but deep below, hundreds of bullfrogs lie still inside their own water-retaining membranes. And that is how the African bullfrog survives. the most voracious predator on the savanna, is also the one that buries itself in a sleep lasting many months, just to exchange it for a handful of opportunities. Field mice still search for seeds. Grass snakes still hunt, completely unaware that the danger sleeping beneath their feet needs only one rain to open its mouth. The rainy season will return, perhaps soon, perhaps late. But without needing to know the timing, it only needs to feel the first vibration when water touches the earth. The first raindrop will fall, the earth will soften, pools will form, insects will surge, and from beneath the cracks, amber eyes will open again, beginning a new hunting season. But for now, the grassland is still dry and hot, and deep beneath the dark earth, it still lies there, waiting. The ground trembles faintly. Not rain yet, only wind moving through the grass. But sooner or later, the water will return, and it will be here when that happens. The wild boar suddenly freezes, its snout still covered in earth. From within the leaf litter, an unfamiliar scent has just drifted past on the wind, and the hair along its spine goes rigid. It raises its head, eyes sweeping across the brown leaf floor, then realizes the space behind it is empty. The group has moved far ahead. It is alone in the middle of the forest. 10 meters away, behind a fallen trunk, two pupils have narrowed and are watching without blinking. The jaguar presses flat against the ground, its spotted coat dissolving into the forest shadow almost perfectly. The jaguar launches from its hiding place, muscle driving through the dry leaves. 10 meters disappear in an instant before the boar can react. The impact is clean and decisive. The boar manages only a few desperate struggles before lying still and helpless among the damp leaf litter. But its chance of survival had already passed some time before. At the very moment it hesitated between two options without committing to either. In that forest, fate is decided by one moment of hesitation. And beside this river, everything will depend on whether one dares to hold on or let go. The bald eagle perches on a dry branch at the water's edge. 3 missed dives since morning have soaked the wings progressively heavier, and its strength has been draining with every passing hour. Below, salmon keeps surging through the fast current. Then a large silver body launches upward, enough to fill the belly for the entire day, but heavy enough to pull it under. The eagle dives anyway, wings folded tight, talons extended forward. After hours of nothing to show, it decides to stake everything it has left on this one strike. Talons pierce through scales in the white of the current. Immediately, a violent thrash pulls the entire eagle down toward the water surface, both wingtips beating hard against the rushing flow. The fish shows no sign of weakening. It continues driving downstream with every ounce of strength, hauling the hunter above as the feathers grow heavier with water. Let go and lose the biggest meal of the day. Hold on and be dragged deeper. And in a split second, the eagle makes its choice. Nearly a minute passes before the talons find the edge of a rock. The eagle drags the fish onto the bank, wings waterlogged, not yet able to take off. It holds the meal, but has also placed itself at its most vulnerable. And on the savanna, an opposite confrontation is beginning, where the prey is the one to strike. In the low grass, a cobra rears and spreads its hood facing a mongoose. At a glance, it looks as though the snake holds the upper hand. But the mongoose does not retreat. It sidesteps, then presses back in. The dense neck fur raised, its reflexes always one beat ahead of the snake's head. The cobra misses. Every lunge exposes a brief gap when the neck is fully extended, but has not yet pulled back. On the fourth strike, just as the head drops for an instant, the mongoose drives straight forward instead of retreating. The opening it has been waiting for has finally appeared. The small jaws lock behind the skull before the neck can retract. The snake coils back violently through the grass, but the fangs can no longer reach their target. In an instant, all roles are reversed. The mongoose wins not through venom or strength, but through the stubbornness to press all the way in. The mongoose swallows the last bite, wipes its muzzle on the grass, and walks away. The smallest creature on the grassland, but victorious because it drove forward at the exact moment every other instinct said to pull back. In a few seconds, it reversed its fate. But beside the Mara River, another hunter can wait for hours for just one decisive moment. The Nile crocodile has been lying still under the mud at the bank's edge since morning, jaws level with the water's surface. Its two eyes are nothing but two dark points, reading the world through vibrations in the mud. A zebra herd comes down to drink, their front hooves touching the shallows. The crocodile picks up the signal and locks its response onto the individual standing closest to the mud edge, head lowered. Its body has already entered a state of readiness, the tail compressed into the mud, holding all the force for one single launch from the still bottom. Mud erupts as the jaws rise out of the water, opening wide past the bank's edge. But the zebra pulls its leg back in time. The bite grazes through empty space by just a few centimeters. The entire herd breaks from the bank in chaos, mud and water churned murky. When the movement stops, there is only empty water and traces already erased. After hours in ambush, the single lunge ends with a very small miscalculation. Just one instant of reflex from the prey changed everything. The crocodile quietly sinks back beneath the mud. The water closes flat within seconds, erasing every trace of the strike that just took place. The next herd will come here to drink, with no idea the danger is still intact just below the mud. Today was only the first attempt. One second off for the crocodile, a whole day lost. And nearby, a more desperate struggle has just erupted as the wild dog pack has just dragged a young buffalo calf away from the herd. The wild dogs hold the calf pinned and bellowing as it thrashes, maintaining relentless pressure, while the entire buffalo herd keeps moving forward, not one turning back. But the calf's cry has reached its mother. She stops, swings her head around, then breaks from the herd and charges back toward the desperate call. The pack shifts pressure onto the mother, maintaining the encirclement from multiple directions, while the calf moves close beside her and the situation shifts into a direct standoff. The wild dogs drive in from multiple directions, forcing the mother to keep turning to block them. But each turn grows a little slower, a little heavier. Then from the distance, the drumming of hooves closes in. Several males from the herd have heard the signal and come charging back, forcing the wild dog pack to scatter. The calf runs safely into the middle of the herd. The mother holds the rear in defense, her heavy body shielding from behind, each slow step exchange for her calf's survival. The wild dog pack slowly withdraws, watching the buffalo herd disappear into the tall grass, the chance of victory dissolving right before them. The patch of grass that was just a site of life and death struggle now holds nothing but wind. The hunt closes in a way the wild dogs had not planned. The buffalo herd leaves the savanna in the afternoon light, the mother walking last. The wild dog pack lies on a rise, watching their shapes fade into the distance in silence. On the rocky bank, the eagle sits beside the cold fish carcass, and beneath the mara, the crocodile has sunk back to the bottom, patient for another opportunity. The mother buffalo walks slower than the herd, each step heavier than the last, but still following the shape of her calf, growing smaller ahead. On this planet, it is not always the strongest that survives. It is the one that makes the right decision at the right moment. And once the choice is made, nature records the result immediately.